Hi, this is Joseph. It is December 23rd. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, so we're going to do a quick review on my expectations for tomorrow, what I'm going to be looking for, and if there's going to be any updates. I will be notifying all coaching clients through the Slack channel if there's going to be any opportunities that I'm going to be trading or participating in. So I want to quickly start off by talking about what we did here today, Thursday, on the pound dollar. We're going to take a look at the two different time frames. 30-minute chart is what we're looking at right now. I'm going to talk about the Good Morning London strategy, and we're going to take a look at the euro dollar. We're going to look at the daily time frames as well, so that way you can see what we do at the end of day homework session, what I'm looking for, what I can see as far as possible expectations, and why we wouldn't execute certain trades. It's very important that you take a look at that data at the end of the day so that you can more or less get a good idea of what you could expect for tomorrow, because there are sometimes when we see certain behavior or patterns on the daily time frame, we would avoid executing certain trades that are likely to fail. Now, if you watch yesterday's video, there was some breakout trades earlier in the week on the pound dollar and the pound yen that hit their take profit levels, and at that point we expected more to follow, I guess, for the most part. And I'll go to the daily time frame. So what we're looking at now is the pound dollar. This is the daily time frame. And you can see here, this was the analysis yesterday. This was the analysis a few days back. For the last couple of weeks here, we've been talking about this support low, this trend line. Let me go ahead and tighten this up for those of you who've seen it for the first time. This goes all the way back to May 2021. May 2021. And you can see that we've got this clear channel in place where price has really effectively reacted to it in many different ways throughout this process since May. Sometimes we get these down thrusts. This is fine when it breaks these levels. We want to see this kind of behavior because it helps us adjust when we're counting the waves into these areas of support and find these reversals that then let us participate and trade it right back up. And you can see here that we've got, in this instance here, this was back in July, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 7, 8 days in a row straight up. This was more than a week's worth of trading activity right back up again. And we were able to trade continuation breakout trades and HL30s when they bounced either off of support or, let's say, Good Morning London strategies that were always in a upward direction as we expected it to come back and reach or get close to the upper down trend line in this channel. Now, again, we saw the behavior here over the last few days when we saw price test support one more time and then roll over. And after the last 3 days, we've seen this strong uptrend. Again, that printed the continuation breakout trade that I showed in yesterday's update video for both the pound dollar and the pound yen. So please take a look at the YouTube channel, the 10XFX YouTube channel, and you'll be able to see the continuation breakout trade and how much they pay on those trades. Those techniques for day trading are really great strategies. And when we see these reversals and we see this much strength in a daily time frame like this, along with, and I'm not going to get into too much detail right here. Let me go ahead and open it up. I'm not going to break down the phase analysis. That's for another video. I do have another chart where we break down all of the phases of this consolidation here and the wave counting as we see it testing that support low and then reversing one more time. That's where we got all of our confirmation here 3 days back. Now, we don't want to trade in the opposite direction of a strong move like this. And all of this here on the daily time frame for the pound dollar is what gives us the opportunity to trade in this upward direction, as opposed to, let's take a look at the euro dollar. Now we're looking at the euro dollar daily time frame, and you can see how sideways and choppy this is. Now, as long as there are certain conditions that are met, we're able to trade both off of resistance to the downside and then off of support back up to the upside. Those give us short-term small opportunities to trade these reversals. These are not breakouts just yet the way we're trading on the pound dollar. So again, you always want to be watching the end of day homework session that I send out through the Slack channel. That'll give you some updates about what I'm going to be doing the following day, and it'll give you a warning as to what kind of techniques we're going to be trading and which ones we want to avoid because of the conditions for that particular currency pair or that particular market. So again, a lot more sideways consolidation here on the euro dollar as opposed to what we see here on the pound dollar. My expectations now, because tomorrow's basically a holiday. I mean, it's the beginning of the holiday. It's Christmas Eve. We're probably going to see less volume, less participation. People are beginning their traveling and to go visit with family or whatever it is that they're doing. So I would expect possibly retests of resistance, not necessarily Thursday's high, but I would expect a slight retracement. But it doesn't guarantee or mean that I think it's a good idea to trade an HL30 to the downside. Let's take a look at the 30-minute time frame again. So this is the pound dollar 30-minute time frame. The trade that we took today for Thursday was the Good Morning London strategy, and that paid 60 pips. Again, we execute with two open positions, just like we do with the HL30. If you're a little bit confused about what I mean, this is the first time you've watched one of my videos, take a look at the HL30. I explain exactly how we get into and we enter these trades so that we can maximize the opportunity. We use a 20 pip first target, and if it hits that first target, we trade it to an additional 20 pips. So the total profitability in a trade like this with two open orders is 60 pips. The second position closes for 40 pips. You can see from the entry to that second target. And the first position closes for 20 pips. So we earn a total of 60 pips here on the Good Morning London strategy. There was no HL30, and we didn't want to trade an HL30 reversal off of resistance because of this strong uptrend and the data that we see on the daily time frame that I showed you just a moment ago. This is very different again than, let's say, we look at the euro dollar. We look at the euro dollar 30-minute time frame, and we did trade an HL30, and we traded it off resistance. You can see how picture perfect this was. This paid 60 pips as well. So if you're trading standard lots, that would be $600 on this trade and $600 on the pound dollar trade that I showed you just a moment ago for the Good Morning London strategy. Now, if you're trading mini lots, that would be $1 a pip. So you'd earn 60 pips here, and you'd earn 60 pips on this Good Morning London strategy for a total of $120. Nothing wrong with that. It really depends on how much capital you have in the trading account to trade with. So again, this one worked perfectly. But let me bring you back to why the HL30 worked and it was okay to execute here on the euro dollar. It was because, again, let's go to the euro dollar daily time frame. We're moving sideways. We've been moving sideways for quite some time, so that's going to give us the opportunity to trade off of either resistance or support in certain situations. Now, let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. Again, my expectations are that we may not see any HL30s. It is possible because tomorrow is a holiday. There's going to be less participation. It's likely that we might see some tests of resistance, but not necessarily the overall areas that we need to qualify for an HL30. So please be very careful. If I see something that looks like a valid HL30 and it's going to be a quick opportunity, I will send out an instant alert through that Slack channel so that way you can participate in the trade with me. It would be a trade that I would be executing. Otherwise, I'm looking at perhaps just watching the market and not really getting too many opportunities or any opportunities at all. It wouldn't surprise me. So just keep that in mind. There may not be any trade opportunities for tomorrow. Today, the total profitability in the trades was 140 pips just with these three trades right here. So the other HL30 was here on the dollar Swiss. So the dollar Swiss, you can see this is Thursday's trading range. Here is Wednesday. We traded it off of support right there. There's the bullish engulfing candle. That gave us our entry. Here's our first 20 pip target, and that's all that it did. It just paid to the first 20 pip target and then rolled over, and that's it. So we only earned 20 pips here on the dollar Swiss. At that point, it broke down and it went down a little bit lower. We had already locked in our profits here, so there was no way we could lose the 20 pip profit here. But you can see that it's very different than how the euro dollar reacted. The euro dollar reacted in a much bigger way. And then, of course, the pound dollar just kind of drove straight back up. But that's the continuance of the daily time frame and the reversal that I showed you on the daily time frame here on the pound dollar. So the very big differences between the two. So 140 pips in this with just these three trades. Very, very simple. These are day trades. Again, this is just getting in, getting out in the same day effectively, and then taking advantage of these day trade opportunities. These are not swing trades or long-term positions, although we do see those and we have those, and we talk about that in other videos and those updates in the Slack channel. So again, just be aware that my update again, you will see that in the Slack channel, sideways. Consolidation still moving sideways, euro dollar daily time frame, and then the pound dollar probably going to continue sometime next week. We might see some kind of a deeper correction. It is a possibility. I'll be watching out for that, and I'll identify that. We'll take a look at Friday's close, and then I'll send out a weekend update so that we can see how we're going to trade it on Monday. But it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a little more follow through and maybe a test. At some point, it is possible that it could break out and above this downtrend from this channel, and then perhaps maybe even pull back and then continue a lot higher. That would come as a result of the phase analysis here of this consolidation that we see here, if it is in fact accumulation. So keep an eye on that, on those videos, on the weekend analysis and the updates, on the daily updates with the homework each day next week, so that way you can participate if this is in fact an area of accumulation and we're going to be trading at a lot higher.